Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely and talented wife, Miss Southern Shell.
Good morning.
Shell, how are you?
Good.
Got your coffee with you this morning?
Of course.
I didn't have me a cup. I jumped up at, I got up at 5 a.m., fired the Yoder up, got two butts prepped up, and they're on the pit right now. I got to get back home and get them wrapped. What time is it? I don't even know.
10 a.m.
I still got a couple hours before I need to wrap. I need to wrap them probably about 1. So
1. Okay.
noon to 1, I'll look at them.
That's not the only butts you're cooking today.
No, we did, buddy of mine, his son was in a bad accident on side-by-side, and he basically hurt his back real bad. Among other things, he hurt himself really bad, but he's having to go over to
the Shepherd Center in Atlanta.
It's like a place where they really help people that have been disabled, can't walk or paralyzed, basically, and they try to help them rehab them back to get them to mobility. And so they're going over there, and we did a fundraiser for them to help them out a little bit, and that's so we're cooking those butts. Jamie actually put them on last night, probably about midnight, and they ought to be ready by about noon or 1, hopefully.
Yeah. We're cooking them on the old hickory.
The big old hickory, the EDX. And we did 80 of them because that's like a good, it's not a max load, but it's a comfortable max load, if that makes sense.
No.
80 cooks perfect on it. So it's like
everything
10
cooks
cases
evenly.
I don't know if it's 8 cases, 10 cases, depends on they're packed, but they all cook even. And so we sold 80 butts, and people are going to come pick them up this afternoon for the 4th of July.
Yep.
And everybody's going to have some good barbecue. I hope everybody's going to have good barbecue.
I think so.
Can't be 4th of July without barbecue.
It can't. It
What's
really
more,
can't.
I'd rather have ribs on 4th of July than I had fireworks. What'd you rather have?
I don't know. We cooked a butt for us.
Cooked one for us. We're going to take it with us when we go celebrate the 4th.
And I'm looking forward to a pulled pork sandwich with white sauce.
Oh, you gonna make the white sauce?
I'm gonna make the white sauce.
Good. That's what. So, look up the white sauce recipe and let's talk about that real quick.
Well, yeah, you can look it up on the app.
Oh, I don't have my phone. I leave my phone in there so it don't disturb us when we're trying to podcast.
Because it goes off constantly.
Yeah. I know what it is.
And you can
Mayo,
download
cider
the app.
vinegar, black pepper. What else is in it?
I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
But you can download the app.
You can download the app for free. It's got all these. It's better than Google, and it's right there, and it's on all devices, not just Apple iPhones. It's on Apple iPhones. That goes along with my Apple ribs we're going to talk about here in a minute.
I pulled it up on the spicy chicken sliders recipe.
Okay, let's go over.
That's a really good recipe.
Man, that's a good 4th of July recipe.
It is good 4th of July recipe because you just cook a couple whole chickens and pull them.
Shred them, yeah.
Yeah. And then you can serve them pretty much however you want. But we served it with the spicy BBQ sauce. And I think you kicked it up just a touch for this recipe. But it's mayonnaise, apple cider vinegar. Jimmy give you a exact amount?
I want it.
It's 2 cups of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of granulated garlic, a teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 tea of crushed red pepper flakes, and I think that's what you added for this. Yeah. 1/2 tea of ground white pepper, 1/4 tea of cayenne pepper, and the juice of 1 lemon.
So I had a little lemon juice in there to give it a little bit of citrus notes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. That's an awesome white sauce, and it goes great on chicken, but it's really good on pork too.
Oh, you could dip pizza in it.
It's good as a pizza sauce. It makes a really good
Yeah,
pizza sauce in the summer. Yeah, I've done that before. But and you can cheat on the chicken too. If you don't want to smoke or grill the chicken, go buy your rotisserie chicken and shred it up and make that sauce and serve little chicken sliders.
Heck yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, it's really good.
When I had to take something to like a little event,
so
I'll pick up the rotisserie and pull it.
So I like to cook just a whole chicken on pellet grill. You run it at like 375, season the outside up really good. Don't mess with it. And just cook it till the breast is 165, and then shred it all up, and then I'll vacuum seal it.
Mm-hmm.
And put it in the freezer, or either take it with me and just vacuum seal it and warm it up. Man, it keeps the chicken so moist and juicy, And then when you serve it with that white sauce, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, with this recipe.
With a slaw. Usually I put a slaw with it too.
If I have time, I might make the pickled red onions too.
Oh man, it goes so good with it.
Because this recipe, it's just slider buns, that smoked pulled chicken, the white sauce, those thin restaurant pickles.
Yep.
And
pickled red onion too.
Pickled red onions.
That's a set off sandwich right there.
It is. I didn't even have this on our list to talk about.
It's a good one though. So what are we talking about? I know it's going to be 4th of July, so we got to talk 4th of July recipes.
I want to talk about.
I did the most American recipe I've ever done.
You want to jump in and talk about that first?
Yeah, American.
Okay.
I call it my American as apple pie ribs, because I don't know how American as apple pie that terminology came about. I didn't research it. I didn't Google it. I don't know, but everybody, I guess, people associate the 4th of July or America with apple pie, and
I've heard the
was
phrase.
it baseball and American pie or something like that?
I've always heard the phrase American is apple pie.
Yeah, well, now we're as American as apple pie ribs, because ribs are really what America's about, at least at my house. So apple goes with, I was just looking for something to do for 4th of July. And I was like, I really wanted to cook some ribs, and I think a lot of people will be cooking ribs. And apple flavors go well with pork. I mean, we use the wood for smoking. I don't know, Mike Mills was made famous out of his Apple City barbecue team using apple wood and the flavors with it to win. No telling how many, trophies and Memphis and May World Champions and everything else. So apple's just been around in barbecue for a long time.
It's
probably because it's a mild wood and it's fruity. It's a little sweet, but it's not overly sweet.
Yeah, y'all use apple flavors.
Man, apple goes in pork. It just goes with it. If you think of stuffed pork loins with apples,
that's what I was thinking.
All the glazes and different things you serve, apples and pork just go together.
Even chefy type recipes
do stuff like that. Yeah. So I kind of took all those and
combination.
Just said I'm gonna go all out apple on some ribs is what I did. And so I started out with some apple cider vinegar, a couple racks of spare ribs. Instead of using mustard as a binder, I used the cider vinegar.
Have you ever used vinegar?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As a binder?
Yeah. When I did North Carolina pork, that's all I used.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Vinegar on it, some salt. So that's what I did first. Apple cider vinegar, kosher salt. Not super heavy on the salt, but I wasn't going to layer up a ton of different rubs, so I just wanted a little salty element to be on the meat first.
And I did want to say, you layered that apple rub on it several times.
Yeah, throughout the cook.
Yeah, you couldn't have done that with a saltier rub. And that's
why
you also put that layer there.
Salt, because it's not a salt. And you tasting it out of the bottle, it's a sweet barbecue rub with hints of apple. That's the way I describe it.
Yes.
It's not overly appley. It's not overly, barbecuey. It's just a good, mild, sweet barbecue rub with some apple flavor.
And I would say if you're going to recreate this recipe with a different rub, make sure it's not a salty rub.
Yeah.
It's completely fine. Do whatever you
you can put whatever flavors you wanted in it.
Yeah.
You could, if you didn't have the apple rub, you could use just a mild, sweet barbecue rub.
Barbecue
would be good. Would work good. Anything like that's not going to, clash too much because we're going to keep the apple. We're going to keep kicking the apple up.
Yeah.
So once I put the Heath Rise apple rub on it, all sides, about a medium coat, let it set and sweat in. It just makes a beautiful we'll start working on that candy apple red color. And they look beautiful going on the pit.
They did, yeah.
Now,
do you think ribs have to have that color going on the pit to come off the pit the way you want them to?
No. I mean, I don't know. I always cooked. I love cooking to appearance too.
Yeah.
I want my meat to look good because it starts, when it smells good and it looks good, it's going to taste good too a lot of times because it's a mental thing. And that's why I guess competition roots got me thinking that way, trying to appease those judges and knowing we're scored on appearance. That's where it comes from. So I like it to look good. I want it to have that beautiful red color going on the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could cook these ribs on anything. I mean, 250 degrees is the cook temp. I busted out. I said brought him out of the bullpen. Mo Yoder 640. He'd been sitting over there covered up. I had my man Caleb come in and clean them up and fired the Yoder fired right up a couple of weeks ago after been sitting for probably a year.
Yeah.
And so I've been cooking on it every day.
You're gonna make a lot of people happy. Everybody keeps asking, "Where's the Yoder?"
Where's the Yoder? He's still there. He's still there. He's still kicking. It's got a little age spots on it. It's been down through there, but it's all right. But so I fired the Yoder up. I ran it with some apple pellets. They were Traeger apple pellets. They ran fine in the Yoder. But
we didn't show that on camera.
yeah, I didn't show what brand they were, but they were Traeger apple pellets, and they did fine. I mean, the smoke was good off
really
of them.
Matter.
You know, you can tell a difference on some of them, but
Yeah.
majority of them are about all the same. I mean, I've cooked just about every kind of pellet out there. I don't have a personal favorite. If I had to pick one, I'd go back to Candy's Barbecuer's Delights, but I can't always get them. So.
Yeah. She
Traeger sends me some pellets, so hey, I'm definitely gonna burn them if you send them to me.
Yeah, and they're not bad.
Yeah. No, they're not bad at all.
Yeah.
I use them in my Memphis grill. I've used them in Yoder. Use them in Traegers. I've used them in Gorillas. I've used them in all kinds of pellet grills. I got a Rectech out there in Waylands we need to put together, and I need to burn some Traeger pellets in. See how they do. It don't matter. I mean, I think now this is getting off the subject of our rib recipe, but any pellets you use in a pellet grill, as long as you're keeping that grill clean, they should run in it. If some of them have some more dust in them, but I try to keep the dust out of it. And then I try to run them out and then vacuum out the auger and keep not just constantly dumping pellets and not cleaning it, not cleaning out your auger. Of course, it's going to corrode up and jam up and cause problems, but you got to do some maintenance on pellet grill. Back to the rib recipe.
Okay, back to the rib recipe.
So they're on the Yoder.
Yeah.
I'm running at 250 degrees. I got my top rack in. I cooked them.
Yeah,
there.
Why did you cook them on the top rack?
Ribs do really well up there. It keeps the bottom.
On the Yoder or just in pellet grills in general?
In general, I like to keep them up. I mean, there's good steady heat up there in the Yoder, especially the way the pipes on the end and it causes it to draw out. And it keeps it away from that heat deflector a little bit so the bottoms don't get as dark on it.
Yeah, the bottoms are really pretty.
Oh, they're real pretty. Yeah, they were real pretty. And so I just laid them up there the whole time. Now, they need about at least 2 hours in the smoke. Sometimes I go like 215, 230, depending on how they're looking. Because it's kind of a color thing. When that rub sets on the meat and it kind of sticks to it and it's not mushy anymore and it's starting to turn a little dark in spots out towards the edges and stuff, that's when you know it's ready to wrap. You kind of got that dark color going on. And meanwhile, I kept the tops of them kind of moistened up a little bit. I took that vinegar spritz that I had in the spray bottle and added a cup of apple juice to it. And I was using, Martinelli's?
Martinelli's, yeah.
It's really good apple juice.
It is. It
tastes like they just squished some regular apples off in there. I don't know how much sugar they got in that stuff.
It's kind of expensive.
Yeah, it's like $6 a jug.
Yeah,
but man, it's good.
it is.
I've been drinking it all week. I'll go by and get me a little glass of it. It's good stuff. It tastes like apples.
It does.
And so that spritz keeps them moist. And I do that about every 45 minutes. I look at them, see if they need it, and then every 45 minutes after that. So
you really like that combination as a base. You've been like
vinegar
your
juice
go-to.
apple. Yeah, that's a go-to. I love the vinegeriness of it, but they're both apples, and it fits the recipe on that one. But I use that all the time. I mean, you have to watch the apple juice. You can't like baste all day with it. Like cooking these butts today, I'm letting them roll low and slow. If I basted with apple juice all day, it'd start getting darker and darker and darker because of all the sugar in it. Vinegar never would, and it won't get dark because it doesn't have that much sugar, but the apple juice would. So after, I basted twice. That took me, and then I went another 30 minutes. So it was like 2 hours, 15 minutes is when I wrapped.
So if they didn't have the color, would you have left them on for another 15, 30?
Probably so. Somebody's buzzing you. I would have, if they didn't have the color, I'd have checked them in another 30 minutes, and it'd have been about, or another 15 minutes, because 2.5 hours ribs should be there.
Yeah.
At 250. If I was going slower, I could probably get 3 hours out of it. At 225, you could go 3, but I was at 250, so I was looking at like 2 hour wrap, 2 hour 15. And for the wrap, I kept it super simple. I did buy some apple butter from the grocery store. Now, apple butter is like it's kind of like apple sauce, but it's been spiced up or kicked up.
And reduced a little.
Yeah, I kind of looked up a recipe on how they did it, and I said, I'm not fixing to try to make my own apple butter when somebody's got it in a jar right here for me. But it was like cooked down. They take apples, and it was like take a dozen apples and cut them up, and then cook them down with brown sugar, and I'm sure there was some lemon juice for a little moisture in there or something, and cinnamon and nutmeg and all these apple pie the stuff that goes in apple pie. And they cook it all down to a consistency, and then they run it through a sieve or something, or food process it some kind of way. And it was There's how to do it on Google. If you want to Google, make your own apple butter.
What if you couldn't find apple butter? Could you just use like an apple pie filling?
You could use apple pie. Yeah. Well, no, that's kind of chunky apples. You would need to get some applesauce, get you some brown sugar, and get you some cinnamon and maybe just a pinch of nutmeg or apple pie spice that they make in the little can that Granny uses for apple pies, and mix all that up, and it kind of turn that applesauce a darker color, and it would be close.
Yeah.
Might not be as cooked and as caramelized as apple butter, but it'd be close.
But do you think you could find apple butter in most grocery stores?
I would think so. I mean, I found it at Kroger.
Yeah.
I just found a little jar over in the cheese section. I said that's a perfect size jar, but I've seen it before in a bigger, apple jelly type jar.
A lot of times it's with the jams and jellies. And people eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, it's kind of on
like
toast or something like that. That's what it's used for.
Have you ever used that in a wrap before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Waylon used to make up a glaze where he would put it in it, but then he would strain it just to get the flavors of it out, but it wouldn't be chunky because it's kind of chunky because it has some fruit texture to it, like applesauce kind of. And so I brushed that over the top of the ribs and flipped them over on some butter. Now I didn't use Parquet this time. I know everybody, that if I don't use Parquet, people say, why don't you use real butter? And if I do use real butter, people say, why weren't you using Parquet? You could use either one.
Yeah, you just.
But I took one stick of butter and I started cutting it up thin little pats, and so basically a half a stick went in each rib rack. So I just spread those out, flipped the apple butter meat side down on those ribs, and on the back, the only thing I did to them was spritz them with a little more of the apple juice apple cider combo, and then wrapped them up tight to where I could get back in them and made it full to open to the top. And then they went back on the pit, and now it's just all about getting them tender and holding the temp steady. So the Yoder stayed at 250. You want to check. It's a good rule of thumb when you're cooking ribs to be aware you probably need to check them in an hour once they've been wrapped. I checked them. It was like an hour and 15 in the video.
Yeah.
And one rack, the bones had kind of blowed out, disintegrated some. The other rack was perfect. And so I said, well, the other rack was like, they needed like 4 or 5 more degrees is what I wanted to see just from filling them with the Thermopin. And I'm looking for softness, but I'm looking for them to be like 202 degrees internal is kind of the magic rib number for that just a good biting rib, not a fall off the bone rib. Still has some integrity to it. That's what the way I like to eat them. I don't want.
If you wanted them fall off the bone,
you just keep cooking.
205 or something.
Yeah, you take them to up 208, something like that. 206, 208. Let them rest in a cooler a little bit longer, and they'll be right. But if you want them to fall off the bone, but the way I did them, it was I'm looking for 202.
Yeah, you were going for almost competition.
Yeah, so it was like
ribs could have.
So they were like an hour and a half rib. I wouldn't be scared to do them if it's a May at all.
Yeah.
Because it's a fruity note that I think some judges that don't judge all the time would hit on.
And it was very well balanced.
Yeah, but it wasn't it wasn't like over the top candy apple. It was just, there were some really good smoked ribs with the smoke ring, juiciness, tenderness, and then it had that apple background that come at you.
I agree. Yeah.
A little bit.
That's a good way to describe it. It's not like you took a bite and was like, this tastes like apple pie.
Yeah, no, it wasn't nothing like you.
It was a sweet rib, but the salt gave you a balance, and the vinegar gave you the balance to it. But yeah, it was like in the back end, you would have been like,
it kind of went.
What is that?
It did go.
Yeah.
It did go.
And I dislike apple pie flavors.
Yeah, you're not a fan of apple pie at all, are you?
No.
I like it. I personally like it.
Yeah.
So
if you like apple pie flavors, you'd love these ribs.
So when I took them off the pit and out of the full, now they're going to be smoking hot at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't rest them like that. This would have been a good time to put them in a dry cooler or a Cambro, maybe for an hour, vent them, let all the steam out, and just let them hang out. But I was, making the video, so I was like, I'm not resting today. It was hot. I was trying to get done. So I immediately put on some hand savers, some black gloves on top, and carefully took them out of that hot foil. And I just had a sheet pan instead of making full boats, which you could have, or you could have drained the foil and folded that down. I just lined a sheet pan with foil. It was real simple. And I transferred the ribs over and laid it right on the sheet pan. And I made my glaze up that I was going to use because you got to do the backside first and then flip them over. So I seasoned the backside with a little bit of more of the apple rub, just because when you unwrap something, it's been pressurized and cooked in all that steam, it needs a little bit of rub to pretty it up. Mm-hmm. So I dusted it a little bit on the bone side, and I took my glaze, which was a simple glaze, And
You
we use this
glaze
glaze all the time, comps. It's a jar, like half a jar or basically a cup of Kroger brand apple jelly. And I put just a splash of the Martinelli's in there to give it some moisture to help it loosen up. And then I put it in a microwave for like 5 minutes. I stir it about 2.5 minutes. And when it's 5, it's all bubbling and boiling. It liquefies it. And, it turns it from a jelly state to just a glaze. And then I mix that with half a cup of vinegar sauce and a whole cup of the BBQ sauce and stir that up. And it's a really good glaze. It'll win you some money.
And if you don't have the killer hogs, you could use whatever barbecue sauce you like.
Yeah, you could use whatever. You could,
especially if you had a sweet and a vinegar to go with it.
The Blues Hog combo would be a great one. I've done that before. There's a ton of good ones. The Lambo combo, that's a good one. Heath Riles and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a sweet sauce and a vinegar sauce that would work with it. There's a bunch of good ones out there.
Do you think the jelly is what kind of gives it that shiny?
It is. It helps. It helps with the. I mean, that came from old Memphis and May cooking.
Yeah.
Everybody would put a little extra brown sugar and jelly and make that glaze, and then add the sauce to it. And it was probably back then the sauce was like Head Country and Blues Hog. That was the combo. They wasn't using the vinegar sauce like we were. They might have put a little Tennessee Red, but it was mainly Head Country and Blues Hog and apple jelly, and that was what was winning. But that glaze has been around a long time.
Yeah.
But so I brushed that on the back side of the rib on the bone side, then flipped them over. And instead of immediately glazing the meat side, because it's been down in the wrap, a lot of the flavors kind of cooked away or steamed down some. I wanted to get some bark back. So I dusted the meat side with the apple rub and stuck the whole pan back on the pit for about 7 minutes. Just enough to get that rub to set in and to make our bark. And I showed it in the video. We opened back up. All the appearance was back on them at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And we do that all the time with chicken, with ribs, money mussels. When we'll hit them, when we take them out of the wrap, we'll hit them with that, put them back on the pit, and get our bark right back.
And you need less rub than you would think.
Oh, yeah. It don't take a whole lot.
Just let it hang out in there for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And probably not 15, more like 7 to 10.
Yeah. And you can also, when I do chicken that way, I'll lightly put the barbecue rub on it and then spritz a little apple juice.
Yeah, you could.
Or you can take that apple juice, apple cider vinegar, and just lightly
to moisten
spritz
it just a little bit to help that rub melt, and it just sets right back once it hits some air and some. And that's really a good time if you want to get a little bit more smoke flavor on it. You can go ahead and put just a little bit of smoke to it, and it's going to stick. So don't put like hickory or anything hard on there at that point. It needs to be a fruit wood to drive it, because the sauce is. And it's going to be like a sponge. So once we put the glaze on, after that rub sets, if you had a little smoke, you could put it to it right then, just for 5-10 minutes. It don't take long.
That's a competition trick.
Another competition trick.
A lot of those guys will take a handful of wood chips or wood pellets, something that'll, burn.
Give them some smoke, but not too
quickly.
long. Yeah, you're not going to put a whole log on at that point.
Throw it
Just
on
smoke
there
it out,
and let the sauce soak up the smoke.
Yep, and that gives you that punch to where you think, oh, these have really been smoked the whole time. No, they just had to hit at the end.
How would you do that in a pellet grill, though? Throwing them.
You really can on a pellet grill. I mean, there's no really. Well, you could probably try to put a chunk or something back there on the hot side if you had enough headway to get it going, a little extra smoke. We've done that cooking steaks on them to get some in there. I've never tried it to reinforce ribs. I just know that they're going to have what smoke I gave them on the pellet grill. It's not, you don't get, that's the only downside, or one of the downsides to pellet grill cooking, is it's not a deep smoke flavor. It's smoked and it makes a beautiful smoke ring, and there's hints of smoke, but as compared to like burning wood on coals, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I still love pellet grills. Don't get me wrong. I use them all the time.
Yeah.
They're just convenient and easy, and you trade a little of that authenticness in the smoke department.
I agree.
As far as being able to control them in consistent heat, man, you can't really beat it.
Well, heck, you put 2 butts on and left.
Yeah. And I run 2 the night before overnight. I just put them on, went to bed, and come up the next morning. As long as I kept it low. I'm probably going to do a recipe for my low and slow pork butt, like I did the low and slow brisket on a pellet grill.
Yep.
Because these 4 butts, well, I don't know how these 2 are going to turn out, but the 2 I did last night,
they were really good.
Wow, I was like, holy smoke, they taste like they've been on the backwoods for 10 hours.
Is there anything you would do differently
to the ribs? No, man, those are really. I'm not joking. I would turn those ribs.
I would
in.
turn those
they
ribs
were
into
good, man.
The texture was
cut perfect.
competition consistency.
The They didn't dry. You know how sometimes they'll separate, dry out a little bit. I didn't get any of that from them. Bones kind of blow down on one rack, but they held in there when I cut them. You know, I let them set for a few minutes to tack up, but
Dang.
to lock back up. But
That pellet grill brisket got 353,000
already
watches. Yeah.
people like the pellet grills, man. They're making a comeback.
I didn't know they were
never.
ever-
Yeah, I shouldn't say comeback. They're making a charge. I guess I should say.
I think they're a good tool to have in your arsenal.
It is. Yeah, I like cooking on them. Saw Patrick Mahomes got him one.
Oh, really?
Traeger got him one. Saw Matt posted it on his Instagram.
Did
I
Matt
don't
go
know.
up there and like give it to Mahomes?
I don't know. He had a meat church thing on it. I don't know if it was really his or not, but he said it was. I guess it was on his back porch. I checked Mahomes' Instagram to see if he posted having a new grill, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. He's got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, they're worried about where he's going to get to play football.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he can be cooking barbecue though. Drew Brees cooks on he cooks on a Traeger, I think. Pretty sure it's a Traeger.
I can see that. And if I was Traeger, I would offer any NFL player.
You want a free Traeger?
You want a free Traeger?
Probably will.
If you're an NFL player and want some free rub, hit me up.
Yeah, hit you up. You got a program for NFL players? I got my buddy Eric out there. He's a Raider now.
Yeah,
in
he's an old Hickory man.
Yeah, he's an old Hickory man. Mr. Cush. He's a
So this past week when we went to Code 3.
yes. So Code 3 is barbecue supply store, and it's across Crossville, Illinois. Is that what it's called? The town? I think it is.
Yeah.
I have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
They're also a line of products. They
It's
have
right
their own
outside of St. Louis. Like, I mean, pretty much you can see the arch from up on
Mm-hmm.
the bluff. You can see downtown. It's not far at all. 10 minutes from St. Louis, and it's an awesome little town. Collinsville. That's what it was. I was saying Crossville. Collinsville, Illinois. I knew that. It's known for, this is some trivia, for horseradish. It's like that's their thing. They have a big horseradish festival, and
Really?
yeah, I guess they make the world's best horseradish there in Collinsville.
Yeah.
It's got mob ties, being close to St. Louis. Back during Prohibition, I guess it was a
Yeah, I remember them showing
place
us.
where there was tunnels underneath the downtown where they bootleg stuff and bring it in. I guess.
Last time we went there, they showed us that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Code 3, Chris and Mike are the co-owners of Code 3.
Yeah.
They have a
They have a shop and then they have a line of products.
yeah, but they've recently started a podcast with the meat. Is it the Red Meat Lovers guys?
The Red Meat Lovers and Code 3 teamed up to do the Meat America podcast.
Okay. And that's what we went up there to do. That's the long story I'm trying to get to.
Well, I wanted to say, Code 3, they do 10% of their profits goes to their
First responders.
Yeah. They do veterans. They do a program called Backstoppers that financially supports first responders that have died in the line of duty, their families, and things like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
They're doing that. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think so too. And they're I really like how they're so ingrained in the community. You know, they know everything going on in the community and they support their local community. And
yeah, that's important when you're, you have a small business. When I thought it was neat. A couple of places we went to actually so one was called Sloan's, and it's kind of like a bar and grill.
Yeah.
Would you call it?
Yeah.
Right downtown.
Real cool little.
And they actually use like Code 3 on their spices, on their wings.
Yeah.
And so of course we had to, they had to get us to try them. And they were coming out with a new one called Top Gun that was really great on wings. But another restaurant we went to had some of the Code 3 stuff on the menu. So those guys are doing a great job partnering with other small businesses, getting the word out and getting some of their products in their hands and letting people see them, and hopefully sending their people to those restaurants to eat. So it kind of works both ways.
It does, yeah. But so we went up there and did the Meat American Podcast.
What was the name of the distillery where we did the podcast? Arden?
Old Herald.
Old Herald Distillery.
It was like an old newspaper.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
I've never been to one where they were making their own beer and distilling spirits. So he had vodka. I think he did a tequila, and he had a bourbon aging in a barrel. It wasn't ready. I think he said it's about a year old. He's going to try to let it go to 2 before he ever
Yeah.
tried his first, but he's excited because it's the first bourbon coming out of there. But I want to go back up there because we didn't really.
It was an in and out.
Yeah,
type
it was.
situation.
We went on a Sunday and came right back on a Monday, so it wasn't like we got a chance to spend a lot of time. So if you ever get a chance to go to that little town outside St. Louis, Collinsville,
It's a
check
cool
it
little
out.
town. Yeah.
It's real cool. And go see Code 3 because they got some awesome stuff in their shop.
Mm-hmm. So, we kind of did two. Well, you did two of the podcasts. You did one where y'all talked about different rubs and things like that and different products. And then you did one, it was me and you. We talked about, I guess, us and our story and our business.
Yeah, that one was more fun, wasn't it?
Because you get to talk about yourself.
Yeah, no, we got to tell our story. So.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one, they wanted a little bit of background, but it was mainly, we were talking about how we develop, how I developed the rubs and sauces and where the ideas came from and taking them to market and all that stuff. So that was, interesting story. I guess it's interesting to people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their podcast, I mean, they're getting people, that they had Mike from Sugar Fire right after us.
Yeah.
They're actually interviewing people. Ours is more like, I don't know.
This is just us. That's what we're doing this week. So we're telling y'all.
It's our marriage counseling session.
So we just need we need a moderator in between to ask us how we really feel.
I did tell someone, I think it was Jamie Durbin. I said, you need to do a podcast. I said, we'll go into the studio and I might be mad at Malcom, but by the end, I've forgotten all about what I'm mad about. It's like, it's really good.
Because we said it's therapeutic. Why do you feel that way?
You leave this place like, I hate that.
I can't stand to spend an hour with her talking about this crap. No. I love doing the podcast with you. I think it's a lot of fun. And it is therapeutic.
July 4th is this Saturday.
Yeah, we're I gotta figure out exactly. I know I'm probably gonna cook some more ribs, I would imagine. But
I want to talk to you about your brats.
okay.
You've been really hitting it out of the park with some brats here lately.
Been making the juiciest brats you've ever had.
But as soon as you bite into them, like the casing just snaps, you know. And
I don't poke them. That's the secret. No, I do. I don't know if I do brats the traditional, the right. I do them my way.
Yeah, but they're perfect.
I do them my way. I start. So the first thing I do.
One of the smallest little men came over and ate 3 of them. He's like, I can't quit eating these brats. They're perfect.
They're good. Yeah, Johnsonville brats. That's what I use. I like the original. The beer brats are okay, but I really like the original.
I'm with you.
That's kind of the ones I lean to when I go to the store.
Well, by the time you put all the other flavors on it, I just want the original brat. Yeah.
My process is I start with an aluminum pan, and I usually put it on the smoker over to the side. I'm running it about 250, something like that. And I put my brats in there. I add a whole can of beer, and I usually a whole can of water. And then I slice up some onion thin, and that goes in.
So we're taking 12-ounce beer, 12-ounce water.
Yep, in the aluminum pan. The brats, they're not always completely submerged, but I move them around during the cook process. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to get that fat rendering in them because a lot of people will go to throwing brats on the grill, and it's cooking so fast that the fat's coming out, it's going to bust the brat. All that juice is escaping. Well, I'm trying to render it slow. That's why I've got it in the beer bath. The casings don't tear.
Yeah.
The brats start to change color, and the fat kind of starts to render and leaving the brat juicy without busting it. So it's a slower cook. And I'm looking to get them to about 145 because this is a ground meat product. It needs to go to at least 165 is what I would say. Internal is what I'm looking for.
So about how long is this and you put onions usually. You have
there's sliced onions in there.
So it's beer, water, and some onions.
And usually it's about 30 minutes depending on, how simmering I get I don't want it boiling. I just want it simmering.
You just want steam coming off.
Yeah. And so I'm steaming it, they're steamy in there. It's like a jacuzzi tub for bratwurst. You'd want to get in there with them. It'd make you happy. And so I'm just kind of flipping them around every once in a while, moving them, making sure they're all cooking about the same rate, not busting or anything. And then when I do probe one, it's about 140, 145. I get them out of the beer, and then that's when I can take the whole pan over to the grill. And it's usually a 2-stage cook for me. I've usually got my smoker going and my grill going. I have done them both on the pellet grill at the same time because I've got some hot spots out around the edges where I can actually brown up a sausage, because that's what I'm using the grill for, is to brown the outside of the brat and finish cooking it. So I'll have, I don't use grill grate. I don't like to use the grill grates when I'm doing brats. They don't really need the lines or anything. I just want a good cook surface and some fire, some coals, not too hot, but medium high fire.
Okay.
I'm not trying to sear steak or anything.
Yeah.
And you can even do 2 zone. That way you got a cool spot to move them off. And I stay with them. And I pretty much just brown the outsides and just kind of roll them on the grate. I'll get one side going, all stacked up, and then I'll just kind of take my hand or spatula and kind of roll them a little bit to the top of the grill in the different zones, and they're all browned even. And then they go in the pan with the peppers and onions. So at the same time, while I got my brat simmering from the first stage, I've already got my onions and bell peppers cut up, and you could use the colored bell peppers or green, whatever you want to use. And I usually a little olive oil, a little AP. That's all I put on them. You could use whatever you wanted seasoning wise, and those go in another aluminum pan. And I just kind of start sauteing them slow while the brats are simmering. And then when I move them all to the grill, I'll take the peppers and onions and move them over to the grill too. Let them get some more heat and really start sauteing, because I don't want them to get mushy. And a lot of times people will cook their peppers and onions till they're almost like trying to caramelize onions. They're just a mush. I want my onion to have a little snap too, like the casing on the brat.
Yeah.
The pepper and the onion need to have texture too. They're just soft and they're fully cooked, but you don't want them like mush in your mouth. And so as the brats gets done, they're going over in the pan with the peppers and onions, and it's just a little process that's pretty simple, really. Mm-hmm. But it makes a really good sausage.
Oh, it's perfect.
Served on a brat bun with a grainy mustard or mayo if you like mayo. That's all you need.
So what was the grilling time estimation?
It's probably less than 4 minutes. It's probably about a minute a roll, because, they're already 145 degrees. And when you got your grill about a medium hot fire, it's going to flame up and sizzle some, but you don't want it to be hot enough to where it's going to bust or burn.
Yeah.
You don't want it to bust the casing. You don't want it to burn it up. So it's, the grill process doesn't take long at all.
So what if you don't have a 2 grill setup? What if you just have a Weber? Could you?
Yeah, you could do a 2 zone. No, you could. I've done that. I've done them on the stove. Start them out on in like a, what would you call that? Like a deep saute pan kind of. Mm-hmm. Sautier, I forget how they say that, but whatever. But it's a deeper saucepan, and you could do that. Put your brats in there, beer, water, onion, simmer them, on about medium, a little bit medium low. Yeah. So it gets to simmering, same time frame. You're looking for the same internal, then take them out to the grill. Heck, I've even browned them in the winter and not fired up a grill. Had a little iron skillet going beside the hot bath, the jacuzzi tub, and then browned them in a skillet with a little oil just to, kind of get them going in that. They're excellent that way too.
They've been hitting here lately.
I love brats and sausages and stuff like that on the grill.
It's so good. And the best bun that I found is a bunny brat and sausage bun, because some of the brat buns are too much bun and the hot dog buns are too little bun.
Don't stand up.
Yeah, but the bunny brat and sausage
bunny
brand brat and sausage bun is my favorite. That's the one I look for, because you got to have the right bun, fresh.
Yeah, it's got to be soft and fresh. That makes the sausage. Those that we had left over the other day, I was just eating them, but just in a plate, no bun. Just squirt some grainy mustard over the top, peppers and onions, and eat it with a fork.
Yeah, I would take one out. You might have seen this. I'm about to do this. I opened it and just took a bite out of a sausage and put it back.
Is that what I thought Michael was doing that?
But it would still, even cold, straight out of the fridge, it would
still have a good grill taste.
Pop. Yeah. Yep. Last year for July 4th, your recipe was the old school barbecue chicken.
That was a good one. I did it on the Jolene.
Yep, on your Jambo.
Had my base going with my mop, grilling and smoking chicken. Man, that was good.
Had your towel.
Did I make beans and slaw with it?
Yep.
Made a chicken plate. Man, chicken plate sounds good. I hadn't had a chicken plate in a long time.
I know. I love that old school barbecue chicken where you just cook it over fire,
Yep.
Low and slow, and you just mop it. Just open it up every now and then, mop it, move it around.
That's it.
The year before that, you did a recipe that was a whole spare rib. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's old school ribs too.
Yeah.
Like you get on the roadside stand. I don't remember exactly how I cooked them. That's been a while, but they weren't cut down. We didn't have kind of that breastbone part of them cut off. It was just the whole rib tip and all on one slab. That's why they do them at what's the Dreamland?
Yes.
It's kind of Dreamland style rib.
They're so good that way.
They are. They're smoky. I don't even know if they're using seasoning on them. It's just maybe salt. But it's all like smoky pork goodness ribs.
But they have that good sweet vinegar sauce.
Yeah.
That you dip it in.
And the light bread.
And the
light bread.
And some pickles.
Pickles and potato salad. That's what I get when I go to Dreamland.
I like the whole spare ribs because you get that fatty connective tissue.
You don't mind chewing on the gristly.
No, I like that.
That used to be my papa's favorite part.
Yeah.
He always
it's
wanted
got a lot of flavor there, you know?
If you can work around all the cartilage and little knuckle meat.
That's the best part. The stuff you get around the cartilage and the knuckle meat.
It is good. It is good. Wow. I just like ribs.
Yeah. You also did, this is a different chicken sandwich, but you did a smoked chicken sandwich with a blue cheese slaw the year before for a July 4th recipe. Do you remember that one?
I got a ton of July 4th recipes, don't I?
Well, yeah, we've been doing
this. Yeah, I remember
for...
that one. It was like red, white, and blue coleslaw stuff.
Yeah.
I did. It had the blue cheese and purple cabbage.
When I looked it up,
I don't remember how I did the chicken. Was it a piece of chicken or was
No, you smoked whole chickens.
And then shredded it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pulled chicken
and you toss
is underrated. Sauce. People don't realize how good pulled chicken is.
Whole pulled chicken.
It yields a lot too. When you cook a whole chicken, I mean, a 4.5 pound, 5 pound whole chicken is a lot of meat when it cooks.
When we would do catering jobs, we would do like pulled pork, and then we'd offer pulled chicken, and people would go crazy over the pulled chicken.
You know what I hadn't tried? I may have to do this for Thanksgiving. Pulled turkey. Why couldn't you pull and shred a whole turkey like that? You know how much that would yield a ton of meat.
We did that with the turkey breast. Made those turkey tacos.
Yeah. Turkey tinga tacos.
Yeah.
That's what we did at Memphis and May for the turkey entry.
Yeah.
But I've never done a whole turkey and shredded the dark smoked whole turkey shredded pulled. I'm gonna do that this year.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm gonna serve it.
With a sandwich?
Might do it open face and make like a dressing type bottom bun. See if I can get. Did you get dressing thin and crispy? You think where you could serve it over it? It'd be like an open face turkey sandwich, but it's really dressing.
I don't know, but I'm thinking a cranberry type sauce.
Yeah.
Or relish cranberry type or something, you know.
That'd be good.
A sweet cranberry type.
I'm doing it. Mark it. I'm gonna write it down right now. Pulled turkey something.
He'll forget. He will forget.
Pulled turkey something. That's what I'm putting. Thanksgiving 2020. If we're all still here, the aliens ain't got us. That's what's next. I saw flying snakes today, and
flying snakes, really?
That's what they say.
Okay.
Flying snakes.
I still haven't seen a murder hornet, so I feel like I'm missing out.
That's just the horsefly where we live.
Man, they've been bad this year. Then I got bit by one.
I need to get bit by stung. If it hurts worse than a horsefly, I'm out. Take a horsefly, draw blood.
And these things we've been having have been like
monsters. I don't know what they've been eating,
but what other July 4th recipes? Whole hog. People love to do a whole hog.
Yeah, whole hog's a great one. For July 4th. I mean, when I think of July 4th, I always think of ribs. I don't know why. It's because I guess as a kid we always had ribs.
Yeah.
But it was like grilled corn on the cob, ribs. From going to the whole hog I didn't have for 4th of July till I went to your grandparents, and they would do hog and sheep and goat and fried catfish. I mean, it was just a smorgasbord.
And lamb, yeah.
And lamb, yeah.
Oh, I love the way they did the lamb.
I don't think it was lamb. I think it was sheep.
It was sheep.
I don't think they were buying lamb. It was old, run down sheep that been down through there, probably on this last summer.
You had to marinate it for a day.
But it was good. I ain't gonna lie.
It was good.
But all that's 4th of July to me, you know.
Yeah.
But ribs, most definitely, you know. Hot dogs for the kids because, it seemed like at night we would always have a grill going, cooking dogs and burgers and fireworks. But the barbecue was like lunch.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. 4th of July watermelon. I had my Uncle Roy's. We always, there would be watermelons and ice. They would keep them in the cooler, just iced down, ice cold. and you bust the watermelon on the picnic table.
Did y'all lay newspaper
Newspaper
down?
and salt.
Yep.
We put
I hated
salt
the
on watermelon.
I still don't like it.
Oh, I love salt on watermelon.
I know it's supposed to wake up the flavors.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it on cantaloupe too. Probably when I got high blood pressure.
There's many.
I don't eat
reasons.
it anymore. Oh, and tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's 4th of July too. This is when the tomatoes are starting to really hit.
We've been eating some tomato sandwiches.
Man, I call it summer sandwich.
We still hadn't had a BLT.
No, we ain't been eating any bacon really.
It's just been a lot of times I just cut up with the tomato and just a little salt, a little pepper.
I've been drizzling it with the balsamic.
Oh yeah,
Like the balsamic glaze, like that you put on a caprese salad. It's tomato time. That's. I'm gonna go home and eat one today. Summer sandwich.
Yep. You know,
You got to 2 pieces of bread,
schmear,
mayo on both sides,
schmear mayonnaise,
black pepper, the coarse black pepper in the mayo, tomato slices. Sprinkle them with a little salt, a little more black pepper. 2 big tomato slices. Sandwich it up, and you got summer sandwich. Oh, it's so good.
It is good.
It's so good.
But you have to have the fresh garden
Oh yeah, they
tomatoes.
can't be supermarket style. You got to have somebody grew them. Somebody put some love into them, some real sunshine, not a hot house. It has to be, they need to be in 7 dust at some point. Really taste
to get that flavor to the next level.
I want to taste this. I wanted to almost have that acid burn.
Yes.
Man, tomatoes should have a lot of acid in it. It's sweet. Oh man, I love tomatoes.
Michael's little tomato plants have been coming in.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
grew
having
some
little
they're-
Tommy toe. I
No,
guess.
they're great. They're like orange grape tomatoes, and they are sweet as grapes too. So it has a tomato acidity, but it has a flavor of like a sweetness of a white grape.
Yeah.
It doesn't have grape flavor, but sweetness of it.
I was gonna cut them up and put them in a pasta salad.
I've been eating them with tuna fish, like a packet of that Thai style Star Kiss
That's my
tuna.
favorite tuna fish.
Yeah, that's what I had for lunch yesterday. It was a packet of tuna and it was a bowl of Michael's little tomatoes, and it was fire, man. I was like, man, this is all right for diet food.
It's not diet food; it's a way of life.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't a Big Mac or a Whopper. Had to be good for you, right?
Any other? What are you hoping to get for July 4th? Anything that we haven't covered?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah. Get you a Budweiser
I'm gonna
red
have.
can.
I'm gonna try to hold off the alcohol. I'm gonna try. I'm
For the
trying
week?
my best. Yeah, I'm cutting back, man. It's summertime. I need to lose some weight. Get ready for Labor Day. I'm trying to get myself ready for Labor Day. That's what I'm gonna blow out. I got my birthday coming up in August. I gotta tighten up a little bit, man. It's 45. I'll be 45. So, but no, I'm gonna have a few beers. I ain't gonna lie. There's gonna be ultras. I'm about to pretend.
You're just gonna sip them slow.
Sip them slow. If you see me with one of them White Claws, slap me.
Hey, I'm liking some of them White Claws.
No, there's a Leinenkugel
That's my
that's
favorite.
like that I had that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, it's just like water. I might as well just be drinking your fruit water. And, get me a shot
I
of
guess
vodka
that's
or
the
something.
point.
Yeah. I just
What
don't-
about a what's that one you like? Strawberry.
Strawberry. I used to make a catarita with them. It's vodka mixed with the strawberry. It's really good too.
Heck yeah,
Man.
it'll mess you up too
Yeah,
if
'cause
you're not
You
careful.
got to run beers in between them too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you drink
Or you-
every 3 beers, you drink a big strong shot of vodka and a whole can of strawberry, but it's like a shot though. You do that shot and you run your 3 more beers. By the time you get through a 12-pack, you've done had I don't know how much vodka, but it's usually a good day.
You're talking like Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're talking like yeah. It's always a good day.
Shell.
No, I'm ready for a holiday.
Yeah.
It's time. So
Anything
we'll
else
get
you're
into.
looking forward to for 4th of July?
No, maybe a little fishing next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather's gonna be nice. I mean, it seems like it's been threatening thunderstorms here. And I don't know,
Oh, it's gonna be raining next week.
so I'm just getting through the summer. It's already July. We're halfway through the year.
This is our 20th episode.
20th episode for the year. Doesn't seem right, but we're going to take a couple weeks off.
Yeah. We're halfway through. School's fixing to start that back. Oh,
so.
Dear Lord.
Or either we're going on full lockdown and the run is going to kill us all. Y'all get your mask.
You see any?
Get your sanitizer. Buy the rest of the Lysol wipes just as they start bringing back.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper's back.
Better stock up on toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Hey, well, I hope everybody has a fantastic 4th of July.
Yes, get out there.
Get out there, celebrate Independence Day.
Sparklers.
Be kind to everybody.
Yep.
Treat them like you want to be treated.
Good way.
That's my rule. And where can they find us, Shell?
If you'd like to connect with Malcom, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
Hey, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us today, and we'll see y'all in a few weeks.
Happy July 4th.